Okay, we are recording. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. I just want to acknowledge you guys for showing up for yourself for this. It's so huge, right? To take a little bit of 45 minutes to an hour of your time and just really invest in yourself. I see so many familiar faces. Hey, Sarah and Vicki. I've said hi to everybody else, I think, already. So glad again that you are here. There's just a ripple effect, right? When us women take care of ourselves, really learn the skills to move ourselves forward, it impacts everybody around us, right? So I think I know most of you guys here, but for anybody watching the recording in the future, I'm Val Solomon. I run Busy Mom Gets Fit social media and website, and also Gorgo Magazine, which is Camp Gorgo, is a fitness camp and mindset camp for women every summer. So I just have a huge passion for helping women in fitness and just in mindset. It all goes together, right? Just really helping women live their best life, right? So through helping women in fitness, a lot of it ends up being a lot of life coaching. Things rise up, as you guys know, that are so much deeper than, trying to lose weight or build muscle. There's just so much more. There's so many more layers to it as to why we want to do that, why we want to look certain ways, things that hold us back and all that. So I'm so happy and feel blessed that my friend Karen Fagan has agreed to come on here and be the expert in this topic. A few weeks ago, I guess it's been a few weeks now, my online training group, Val's Gals, we had a Zoom meeting like this to kick off our month of June. And a recurring topic kept coming up. People don't want to take progress pictures. People don't want to get on the scale. People don't like, they just feel bad about their body, right? And so I didn't feel like I knew exactly what I wanted to say to help you in a really impactful way. So that's why I've invited Karen to come and share her expertise. Karen is an international life coach. I met her in 2017 when we both said yes to going to a business training, and we got to stay in a house with like 20 other women and really got to know each other. It was a really, really powerful time. Anytime you do anything with a group of women that are like-minded, it's just impactful. So that's where I met Karen. She, my phone's not muted. She lives in LA. She has one daughter. She is just fabulous. Look at her there in that picture. She's just got such a good energy and huge heart. She really believes that if she can help women find more confidence, feel great in their skin, that impacts all areas of their life. So I worked with Karen one-on-one for a while in a time in my life when I was just really stuck. I guess that was probably back in 2017 after we met, shortly thereafter. And so she really helped me move through some things and really launch my business and life in a new way. So I'm so thankful for you for that, Karen.
Oh, thank you.
Let me see what else I wanted to say. That's it. Karen, do you want to just take over and maybe share a little bit of your story as it applies to overcoming body image?
Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm so grateful to be here. And before this call, I want you to write this song down. I was playing I Am Every Woman by Whitney Houston, and I was just getting so filled with energy to serve and to help you love yourself as you are now. And so I want to share my story, a little bit of it. I had really bad self-image issues. And I didn't know through the process of my body image issues what it was really about. Through a process of healing and accepting myself for who I am, I realized I thought I had to look a certain way to receive love, attention, that if I didn't look a certain way, that I would be rejected. And so there was a time in my life where I was training for a fitness show, and I was never happy with those progress pictures. Never, ever happy. And when I look back at those pictures, I was leaner than what I am today, but I was miserable. And I would rather be 10 pounds overweight and healthy than striving for something and being miserable. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so what I really learned, it doesn't matter how much I work out, it doesn't matter how much weight I lose. The thing that matters is that I'm happy now and I accept myself now. And from that point, things radically started to change about how I felt for myself. Because here's the thing, in life, we never know what's going to happen. We could get injured, right? We could have to take care of someone who's really sick where we don't have as much time. And we have to love ourselves, ladies, no matter what. If we're 10 pounds heavier or 10 pounds lighter, right? We cannot love ourselves and base our image based on the number of the scale. If we do that, that's placing our external happiness on a number that will change, right? Our body weight fluctuates all the time. And so what I learned to do is stop working so hard to kind of receive some validation just on the way I looked. And it was really, when I look back at those pictures, I laugh now because yes, I was a lot leaner, but I was miserable. And I share that to say is that I can really promise you, if you just can love yourself now with any extra weight you have, with any, judgment you have about your body, and learn how to work with your mindset, what will shift for you will be so powerful in how you see yourself. So that was really the process. I thought I had to be thinner. I thought I had to be leaner. I thought I had to be all these things to accept myself. And that was not true. And so I want to empower you ladies to get exactly what it is you want, the look you want for your body. But mostly, I want you to know that you have to start accepting yourself now as you are, and then the change will happen. And one of the best ways to do that is to really look yourself in the mirror and decide that that's what you will do. And that's a huge statement, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm not happy. I have extra weight. I'm not where I want. And then we go into this constant resistance. And when we're in a place of resistance, right, negative self-talk, it does not help us get where we want to be. So that's my story and just my struggle of self-image. And it was really from a place, I have to look a certain way to have acceptance, to be loved, to advance in life. And that is not true. You want to feel comfortable in your skin. And when you do that, you will be the most radiant, attractive woman that walks into the room.
So it breaks my heart. I'll get these progress pictures from women. For years I've been training women through app, and they send me progress pictures or whatever. And it's so heartbreaking because so often the pictures are just like great, and people are just like, this is what they say, I just don't feel good in my skin, and they're at a healthy weight. They look fit, everyday fit, right? So that's a common thing that I hear, Karen, that I love for you to address, is just that when we just we feel a certain way, right? It's not even maybe what you see in the mirror. You're just like, there's something in our mind. I even do it myself sometimes. I'm just like, oh, I just don't feel good in my skin right now.
Yeah, it's totally in your mind. So I went back and I looked at, so when I was training for my figure competition, I had a coach, and I looked back at some of the emails before this call, and my mind was so focused on not being enough, not looking perfect. And she would say, you look amazing. I couldn't receive that, right? So if we don't focus, ladies, on getting happy now, if the scale goes down 100 pounds, I can guarantee you're still not going to be happy, right? Because happiness, feeling good from within, right, it doesn't come from the scale. It comes from your thoughts, how you feel, and the actions you take that positively serve the results you want. So it's like I always said, if you're gonna be in a process, enjoy it and love it and really get to know yourself. And that progress pictures, it really doesn't matter how sculpted you are or how thin you are. If your mind is not looking at yourself accurately, it's like If you have a negative self-image right now, you lose 20 pounds, I guarantee you, you will still have it. It will eventually come back up. And that's how the whole cycle starts of just, I feel good, I don't feel good. And what we want is to get you into a place of body freedom and pure acceptance of how you look and how you feel. Is that helpful?
They're all muted, but yes, it's helpful. Yeah, there's just so many, really the two other things that I get so much are just a lot of issues with past fitness competitors, are people just wanting a body that they had 10 years ago, right? And we just change as we age, you know, and sometimes that's hard to grasp, deal with. And then you touched on it, just not wanting to weigh themselves or take pictures, right? Because we put so much value. I try to coach people that it's just data, right? It doesn't, if we don't tie an emotion to it, it's just a piece of data that we can use to see if we've made progress or not. But there's so much emotion and mood, even, you know, when you hop on that scale in the morning, if it's not what you want it to be, it can affect how you feel all day long, right? And the decisions
Yeah.
you make. So
Yeah. And so what we want the focus is on, do I feel good? Is what I'm doing? Because here's the other thing, when we start to get into that negative self-talk, it's easy to binge on a cake. It's easy to skip the workout, right? Because we're in a negative state. So the real important thing is, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel in my skin? And then you take actions from that place, right? So if you say, how do I want to feel in my skin? I want to feel alive. I want to feel sexy, vibrant, radiant, youthful, right? Then the next step is, well, it's the actions you take, right? And when you're feeling good, and I know you can all relate to this, we've all had a time where our weight's been really great. You feel more empowered, right? And so when you feel good, you make better decisions for yourself. And what I want to tell you right now is that you can make better decisions and feel better right now, even if you're not happy with your body. And if you do this, the likelihood of you getting the physique you want, losing the weight, increases significantly.
and you guys, there's a chat here in the bottom too. If you have specific questions as Karen moves along, you can do that. But I hear what you're saying, Karen. How do we do it?
Yeah, okay, so let me give you 3 steps, right? And number 1 is awareness. Anytime, right? I'm sure we have all, I know I have, anytime I hit a rock bottom with something, I feel pain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to change this. And that's awareness. So awareness is the way that you're talking to yourself, the way that when you look in the mirror, the whole kind of dialogue you have. Awareness is, this doesn't feel good, right? It never feels good to beat yourself up. And when you're beating yourself up and you can't understand like why you're in the place that you're in, you just spin downward. And I guarantee the cookies, you'll reach for them, or whatever the device is, right? Maybe it's not even working out or taking care of yourself. So the number 1 step is awareness and realizing that how you're speaking to yourself, how you're seeing yourself when you look in the mirror, it's not supporting how you really want to feel or look. So there was a time in my life, this is probably about 12 years ago. And what was I 12 years ago? In my mid 30s. And that was when I was not accepting myself. And I remember looking in the mirror thinking I looked so old. And it wasn't that I looked old. I mean, I was 35. It was my negative self-talk that made me see myself as old. So the number one step to really start to shift and start to feel free in your body and comfortable, and that you can actually achieve what it is you want, is to have the awareness that how you're talking to yourself, how you're treating yourself, it's not working. Does that make sense? Right? That how you're seeing yourself, if you keep that negative talk going, it's not going to propel you forward, right? And so I'm going to give you some tools and strategies to help you turn that around. But the number one step is to really make peace with the way I'm seeing myself, and the way I'm talking to myself is not getting me to the goals I want. Any questions about that? Okay. So the next step is truly mindset. Okay. And so we have the awareness. It's like, okay, it actually feels really crappy every single time I look at the mirror and I'm just like, whatever it is you say to yourself, right? So it's like, okay, I have the awareness that this negative self talk isn't working for me. The next step is mindset. And so mindset is all about your thoughts, okay? And what you're choosing. Because you have the power to choose how you see yourself in an instant. Okay. So if you keep the dialogue going, and Val, you can chime in. I know for me, it was like, I'm fat. I had this real big thing with like, I'm fat. And what is that anyways, right? That I would never get to where I want to be. There was a time in my life that I literally thought I could not change my body. I felt like I was stuck in this body I didn't want. And that was not true, but I'm telling you, ladies, it felt so true. And what it did is not help me do anything good for myself. So your mindset is all about your thoughts. And I want you to grab paper and pen because I want to teach you something right now. It's super powerful. And if you're really committed to changing the way you see yourself, improving your body image, your image of yourself, you'll want to take what I'm about to teach you and start to use it. So we all have thoughts. We have thousands of thoughts a day. And so if we have a thought that we believe to be true, so I'm going to use me. So my thought back in the day when I was a lot less, I weighed a lot less than what I do now, was I'm fat. And so the thought is I'm fat, and I believed it to be true. So a thought that you believe creates feelings. And for me, the thought I'm fat made me feel like crap. It made me feel like I couldn't walk into the room confidently. It made me want to put frumpy clothes on and not dress up. It made me not want to reveal who I really am. So we have our thoughts that if we believe them, we create feelings, right? So we all know that if we look in the mirror and we're like, I'm not enough, I look old, I look not fit, I look fill in the blank, it's going to create feelings that do not feel good. And we take action. So you have thoughts, write that down, right? Lead to your feelings. And whatever feeling state we're in, we take action or non-action. So I know for me, back then when I was training really hard, if I had the thought, oh, you're fat, like you don't look good, like it's just like this is, you have to work harder. The action I would take is to eat crappy food. I would just start to emotionally eat Okay, so we have our thoughts that lead to feelings, and our feelings lead to action. And whatever action we're taking is going to give us a result. So, you know what my result was? I'm still not enough. I am still fat, and I'm never going to be able to do this. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that's really, really clear. And I'm happy to go through that with anybody if you're having a negative thought. So, what I had to do is identify the thought. I I think I'm not enough. I think I'm fat. I think I'm too old. I think I can't do this. And then really say, that's not serving me. So I need to choose a better feeling thought. So it could be, um, so if you were thinking, I'm not enough, it could be, I am enough. It could be a slight like shift that, think about that. Think about, I'm sure everyone on this call, I'm telling you, I have gone through this where I felt I am not enough. And that never feels good. And it never will bring you action results. But if you can shift it to, I am enough for this moment, for this day, like it feels better. Can you feel that? Right? And so then it's like, okay, when you feel better, you do better. So that drops this down into, well, I am enough for today or for this moment or for this second, right? And then you have better feelings. And what do you do when you feel good? You take better action, right? You all have had moments in your life where you feel clear, you just take better action. And what does that do? It gives you better results. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah, I really, really want you to get this. So you could actually, this is a huge tool, okay? If you find yourself, I don't want to do progress pictures. I want to do this fitness or this weight loss program, but I don't really know if I can do it. You have to examine that thought because it's negative. You can do whatever you put your mind to, anything, but you have to clear out the junk, the negativity, right? And so the number one thing is like, is this thought helping me get the results I want? And if it's not, you have to decide, what am I choosing? Am I going to choose to buy into this or choose a different, better feeling thought? Anybody have questions on this? I can't see the chat. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe. Okay, so yeah. So, okay, so here's the thing, Victoria, hi. The thing about affirmations is you have to agree to believe the affirmation, because an affirmation is like a thought, right? So an affirmation is, I am more than enough. If you say that and you're like, oh, I don't really think so, it won't work. You have to come up with an affirmation that is like, and it could just be, well, for today, for this moment, I'm enough. Affirmations work when they feel good. So here is the key. You think about the thing that you want. And the reason you want it is because it will make you feel good. So we as women all want to feel good in our skin, right? We all do. But we get to feel good in our skin now, and that's going to help us get that end result. Does that make sense? So lots of times we're waiting. When I lose the weight, when I have this, then I'll feel good. And what I am telling you, you have to start feeling good now. And when your mindset starts to be, I know, I will say this very transparently. I know before my cycle starts, I can just get negative about my image. And I have to be like, whoa, this is not a thought I want to entertain. right? And lots of times we have negative thoughts as women before our cycle starts, when we're tired, when we're hungry, when we just need to chill out, right? So it's really paying attention to, it's like I want you all to become hyper observers of what you're thinking. And if you're not feeling good, I promise you this, write this down. If you're not feeling good, you're not thinking good. Does that make sense? And so sometimes what I do, I actually did this. I'll never forget. I was in LA. I had just moved here. Like, so, I moved across country. So much was going on. And I was driving down the freeway and I was feeling overwhelmed. And I was like, woman, you need to snap out of this. And so I started to like clap my hands and say, you can handle this. You got this. And I had to like clap myself out of the overwhelmed state and into the empowerment state. And you can do that with anything, with how you see yourself. It's like, oh my gosh, I just looked into the mirror and I'm saying, it's not enough. This isn't good. No, I love myself. I love myself, right? You have to kind of reject the negative and bring in the positive until you believe it. Make sense? Any questions about that? So
I
if
mean, sorry.
that's
I
okay.
just, I feel like I totally understand and relate like what you're saying, but like even when you're saying it to us, like to me, I'm like, yeah, that's easier said than done.
Right, right. So I will tell you, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. But the more that you do it, it's like, do you work out?
Yes,
Okay, what do you do for workout? Do you lift weights? Do you run? Do you
a little bit of everything.
a
Hit,
little bit
run.
run? Okay, so have you ever had a time where you weren't working out as much and then you went back to working out?
Yes, when I'm not working out, I am not a good person.
Me neither. Okay, but when you get back into working out, you don't go back to running 10 miles or lifting 50 pounds or, I'm totally exaggerating, right? You start slowly.
Hmm.
And so, absolutely, like what I'm saying, oh, it's like, it sounds like some beautiful concept, but it's just like working out. It's building a muscle, right? So that's why it's like you have to pay attention. Sometimes we don't know what we're thinking, but we always know if we're feeling what we're feeling. We know if we're feeling good or if we're feeling crappy, don't we? I know
Hmm.
I do. So if you can start to pinpoint, I am feeling crappy, it's like, okay, there's a thought that I'm having that isn't serving me. So, for an example, to serve everyone on this call, what would you be willing to receive some coaching right now?
Sure.
Okay. So what's a negative self-talk about your body image, about you? Like what comes up for you?
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's just the normal. Like if I look in the mirror, I can always pinpoint like all my flaws, everything that I'm just not okay with.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So like I can normally look. I There's a lot of times where I'm like, even though I've lost weight, and it's kind of going back off of to what you've already explained to us. It's I'll look at myself and I'm like, yeah, I've lost 20 plus pounds, but why don't I have that image of what I should look like? Like why don't I look like that person I think I should look like?
Right. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing that. So that's really based in it. I'm not enough. It will never be enough. I'm never ever going to get there. Okay. So I want you to reframe, right? Like one concept that I really got that helped me shift my body image is when I really understood that who I am is not directly correlated to what I look like. Like, I am a soul that will live on for eternity, and my body's just here for me to carry me, right? And so one of the steps that I'm going to give you, and like and step 3 is really practical exercises that you can do, because this body image, and let me just say this, right? If you're on Instagram or Facebook, let me just tell you, most people are filtered and changed. And we think, oh, I need to look like that. I need to look like the Kardashians. We all know what the Kardashians look like, right? And we start to think, I am not enough. How do I get there? We're chasing something that you need to go spend $1 million on surgery for, right? So number one, it's like, what are you comparing to this place that you're getting to, okay? And is it really real, right? Everything that we see in magazines, online, it's really an illusion, right? So I say, stop yourself. Don't start to compare that, okay? Then the next thing is like, and this was huge for me. I started doing this when I was like 27 years old. I did not like myself, right? I really just did not like myself. And so I decided, you're going to change this because this is misery, right? And I was like, you have to pick, Karen, one thing that you love about yourself. And I was in such resistance. I didn't want to do it. And then I decided, I'm going to love my fingernails. Every day I would like look at my fingernails and say how much I loved my fingernails. And what that does, it trains your brain to focus on something positive and accept yourself, right? So here's the key. The more we think about something, good or bad, we get more of that, good or bad, 100% of the time. So for you, I mean, you look like a glorious, beautiful woman right now as you are. I mean,
I appreciate it, but I don't feel that way.
okay. So how you feel that way is how you think.
And I find myself a lot, and I don't know if it's just me, but I always feel like, and granted, like you said, like Instagram, I see certain pictures and of course you're like, I want to be like that. But I also have that image of when I was younger, like before kids. And I always feel like that's where I need to go back to. But in our reality, like our bodies have changed, you've aged, and I'm never going to get there. But I always feel like that's what I'm striving for, and I can't set my mindset to change that.
Okay, this is amazing because Val and I were talking about this, right? Striving to go back, right? So, number one, right, with this, if you're striving to go back to something, it's not that that's bad, right? Because you have an image, right, of yourself. However, the reason why you want to go back to that, it's what I said earlier. Do you know what it is? It's because of how you felt. Right? You had this image and you felt good, but you attached a lot of meaning to like what you look like, right? So remember a few minutes ago, I said, you know, what you want is based on what you believe you'll feel once you have it, right? And so the next piece to this is to meet yourself where you are, right? Like, what if you could just love yourself with like whatever flaw you see, like what if you could just love on that flaw? Do you think that your image would grow into something more loving and positive for yourself? Is that possible, do you think?
I agree with it. I can see it, but it's just like you said, it's making your brain think it.
Yeah, so it's like what I said, right? In step 2, your mindset, it's like, what am I choosing? So, in the practical steps, right? And this is what I did. So I used to, I'm sure you're all going to relate to this. I remember this is when I lived back on the East Coast, and I'd be like kind of downtown and I'd walk, you know, like shops with windows, and I get a glimpse of myself, and it was like, oh, you look horrible, you're so fat, you're so blah, 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 blah. And what I started to do is when I got that glimpse, is be like, oh, hi. I didn't even say anything positive. I just started to accept I'm like, oh, hi, there you are, right? I had fun with it, right? So for you and everyone on the call that feels like, okay, I get this in theory, right? It's just like we all know if we work out, right, we eat healthy, we'll lose weight. That's really a theory, right? But then we put it into practice and then it works. So for you, right, it's like another thing too, it's really declaring to yourself that you want to feel good. And when you get that like that fire in you, you'll be like, oh, I just said something negative to myself. I'm not going to do that. Right? And you just reject it. So
Yeah.
do you have children?
I have 3 girls, and you're sitting here telling me this, and I'm like, I always preach to them about that. Like, I always tell them to, empower themselves, stand up like they're perfect, they're great. And I'm like, I don't take my own advice.
Okay, so now we're not going to do that anymore, right? Because honestly, even though you're saying that to them, they are picking up on your negative self-image. It's just that's what girls do, right?
And I feel like that's what I try. Like, I try to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as a mom for them, but I'm like, I don't even believe like
Yeah.
what I'm telling them to believe.
So a real easy way, right? Because right, this isn't about just like being positive and rah 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 and everything will change. No, that's not what I'm teaching you. What I'm
Yeah.
teaching you is to identify, I feel crappy about myself. Like, let's be real, ladies. I feel crappy about myself. This isn't what I want. And the only reason you feel crappy is because of what you're thinking. Or it could be, oh, because I just ate something I didn't really want to, but you ate that because what you're thinking, right? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, it
Right?
does, because sometimes it's just those thoughts. You're like, you know what? Why fight? I might as well just eat the cookies. Like,
I'll just eat
it
the
is what it
cookies,
is.
right? And you have the power, and that's why like clapping your hands, turning, you have to change like your state,
Hmm.
right? It's like calling someone. It's like, just tell me something good right now, right? It's like you have to change your state, because like one negative thought leads to a negative thought, right? It's like, I'm sure you're all going to relate to this. It's like walking into a room with a bunch of positive, happy people. Your vibe goes up, right? Or you know what it's like when you're in a room for negative people. It's like, ooh, you start to feel ooh, right? So if you can just do this, and this is for everyone, I am noticing right now, I don't feel good. I just looked in the mirror. I'm not liking this. Then it's, well, what am I choosing? Well, I want to feel good. I want to accept myself. Like, we have this one life, right? And we're all only going to get older. That's just what happens, right? Right. And so the freedom comes in with accepting yourself and focusing on, like, I want you all to pick one thing that you can start to really love on. It's like, so here's how this works, right? You love, like mine was my fingernails. And then if my mind started to go into a negative state, I'm like, whoo, I'm feeling crappy. Oh, right. I'm thinking I'm not enough. I'm fat and whatever. And I'd go back to my fingernails. And I'm telling you, it helped so much. It helped train my brain to focus on the good. Because what do we do when we focus on the good? We feel good. We do better, right? Is that helpful? Yeah. So I want you, right? Only you can believe that you can change this. I can believe for you all day, right? And so it's all about, what am I choosing today? Am I choosing to feel good? Am I choosing to feel crappy? And sometimes it's like, I know women, we're hormonal and like we really just don't feel good, but we have to be easy on ourselves, right? We have to be like, okay, I feel bloated or I'm tired or whatever it is. It doesn't mean a flawed woman, because you never can be. Like, that's not even true, right? Yeah. I remember, I want to share this because I think it's really powerful too. I remember back in the day when I really struggled with my body image, I would see women who were much heavier than me and they looked radiant. I was like, how can they be happy like that? And then I got it. Like they love themselves. That's it. Right? And that's really, really key because no matter what you're trying to do in life, right? In life, we know things ebb and flow. If you have kids, work, life, look at what's happened in our world, right? And if you're basing your happiness and how you feel in your skin on all this external, it will crumble. It will crumble miserably, right? And if you love yourself as you are now, you will start to take better action and you'll reject the cookies, right? The negative self-talk, the like feeling like I'm not enough. But it takes training your brain, just like training your bicep muscle. Helpful? Yeah, good, good. So practical tips, okay? So we talked about awareness, right? It's like raise your hand if you're done having negative self-talk and that you know this is no longer working for you, right? So then, yes, no more, right? All right, we want to be empowered women. We want to be empowered women for ourselves, the women around us, our communities, right? Our families, our friends, our whoever. The next thing is the mindset, and it's going through the thought, the feeling, the action, and result. So to recap on that, if you don't like your results and you don't like the way you're feeling, I 100% promise you, your thoughts are not serving you. They're negative. And so what you have to do is identify the thought. Oh, I'm not believing whatever your fitness goal is. And then you have to reframe it in a way that you do believe. Well, I could eat clean today. I could work out today. I could drink the water today, right? And that's going to give you fuel for the next day. Does that make sense? So really checking yourself with your mindset, right? And then practical things is how it's like how you are talking to yourself and noticing. So it's like when you look in the mirror, just start to find something good. I call it like getting yourself ready for battlefield, right? It's like the army prepares for battle, right? Like they go through training. And so if you start to every single day look in the mirror, or just if you can't, some people can't look in the mirror. I couldn't look in the mirror when I first started doing it. I taught myself this. I was like, you should really look in the mirror and say something positive. I was like, I don't want to do this. I just started saying nice things to myself. I started to train myself, right? To accept myself, to love myself, to believe I can get in better shape and be happy, right? Or if I gain 5 pounds, I'm not going to be like suicidal, right? So practical, right, is how you're talking to yourself, choosing one thing. You can choose more if you want, but one thing that you're going to love on. It's like, oh, I'm so negative right now about my flaws, about my stretch marks, about my whatever, right? Oh no, I love my fingernails. I love my hair. I love my earlobes. Whatever it is for you, you just got to, and I'm telling you, you're going to start to feel good. You're going to feel some expansion, right? Some other practical things. Okay, this is huge. You want to eliminate anything that validates, I don't know how else to say this, but the bullshit that's making you feel not good about yourself. So it could be if you have clothes that you don't feel good in, like just stop wearing them. Wear clothes that feel better for you, or get some color. So I remember during that period of my life, okay, I wear a lot of black now because I like black on me. I think it looks really good. But back then, I wore black because I thought I had to hide. So then I started to get into color, right? That was a tool. So you want to eliminate the bullshit that validates you're not enough, that you can't do this, that this is really hard, right? So it could be, like I said, don't wear clothes that don't feel good. Like anything in your environment that isn't pleasing, get rid of it, right? Do you know what I mean by this? Yeah. So what would it be for you, since?
It's actually like tighter shirts. I rather wear like looser fitting, just like t-shirts. Nothing crazy, but anything too tight, I kind of stay away from.
Yeah. So I would just like get rid of it. Cause it's like, you don't want to feel like, oh, when something's tight, it's like, oh, right. Like, why even put yourself through that? It's not helping you, right? It's just like not helping you. So anything that doesn't feel good, so it could be even clutter. So if you have like clutter all over your house, all that is validating. If you don't like the clutter, um, I'm not enough. I can't keep my house clean. Like, what's wrong with me? Do you know what I'm saying? So,
I 100. That's you're kind of like speeding to me right now. 'Cause that's kind of what I'm going through. We're getting ready to move, so like everything keeps just like it's piling up and added to everything else.
yeah,
Kind
so
of
it's like attack the clutter, get rid of things, right? Take a look around. Like, if you see something that you don't really like, just get rid of it, donate it, right? But I know it may sound like, well, how does that relate to me getting in better shape and meeting my fitness goals? It hugely does, right? Because everything in our environment impacts our thoughts and how we see ourselves. Does that make sense? If you
yep.
have a mirror that you look in and you don't, get a new mirror. Like, get a mirror that you only see your head up, right? It's like you have to start in a place that moves you forward. It makes no sense to stand in the mirror and beat yourself up. Okay. So practical tips, right? It's how you talk to yourself, how you see yourself, but picking something. So I all want you to pick that one thing you're going to love on about yourself. It could be your hair, your eyebrows, your eyes, right? It has to be some feature of yours. And then it's eliminating anything in your life that validates the negativity. So one thing is your own negative thoughts, right? Which we've talked about. Clutter, foods that don't serve you, clothes that don't serve you. Who else has a question or would like some coaching? Who else is like, okay, yeah, but like, really, I want to serve you and help you. So if you'd like some coaching, right now is a really great time just to ask for it.
I have a question.
Okay, great.
I'm getting it and everything, but my problem is how do you keep telling yourself and keep reminding yourself and grow that muscle um, when you've been taught not to?
It's a great question. So the first step is really deciding that you kind of want to break that cycle. Like, you really want to break that cycle. Okay. And then the next thing, it's like you have to be, my daughter calls it like being a Nazi. Like, you have to be a Nazi of your own thoughts, right? Like the military. Like, you're just like, okay, whoa, this thought. And sometimes I'm going to be really real with you. Like, some days we just have days where we feel shitty. We just do, right? It's like we cannot switch the thought. But here's what I want to say, and this is huge, huge. What I did, so when I was starting to like really turn this around for myself, and I was thinking crappy things, and I had a day that was just crappy, I made it mean I'm going to be stuck like this. It's never going to change, right? I'm never going to look the way I want, or whatever it was. And then what I did is like, okay, wait, this is just for today. And I didn't attach to the negative thoughts that much. It's kind of like, you know how if you look up at the sky and you see a cloud go by, right? It's just like if you look up, we see a cloud, and it's like letting the negative thoughts just pass and pass and pass, right? Because sometimes, right, when you've been ingrained of not being enough, like I remember when I was a little girl and someone told me to be careful that you don't get fat. That's where I got the fat girl mentality, right? And so you want to wake up every morning like this. As much as you work out, as much as you eat well, your mindset, it's part of the training, right? And with that said, you know, this is like some real work. Like we've all had workouts where like, oh my gosh, like I can't even do this, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So what you do is you're just like, okay, you try to go for that better feeling thought. Like, and it could just be for you. This is what I've been taught, but I am choosing something different. And even though I don't feel great, I can just let this be for now. Like you have to be gentle with yourself. And I promise you, if you do that, right, you're going to get that confidence to be like, okay, right, I am good enough, or I do feel good. But it's when we go into that negativity that keeps us real stuck. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I can't relate to everybody wanting to go back 10
Uh-huh.
years because I haven't got there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
So,
just identifying, right? Like, how do I feel? Where is this coming from? Oh, this is what someone told me, right? This is from my past, and it's getting into the present. What am I choosing right now? And sometimes I'm going to be honest, it's really difficult to get that better feeling thought. But if you don't feed into the negativity and you just kind of stay neutral, right? It
mhm.
will shift. Helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Really, really good. Yeah. So remember, right? And also, like, start playing Whitney Houston's I'm Every Woman. Like, get yourself in the state of, like, I want to feel good, right? I think the most beautiful, radiant women, it's not what they look like, it's how they feel. And that radiates out into everything they do, right? So put some good music on. That's like another tool to shift you out of negativity, is to like go outside, call someone, put music on, right? It's like, have you had those workouts where you're just like working it out?
Yeah.
With music, it's just like you just start moving and it will shift, because thoughts, like I said, create feeling. That's emotion. And if it's a negative thought, you have a negative emotion in your body and you just have to get it out, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Let me look in the chat. Um, yeah, habits, right? So be in agreement with yourself. I'm going to create a new, right? New and improved mindset habit. I'm going to train myself, right? New and improved habits. And to create any habit in your life, it's to start in your mind first. Yeah.
This is so powerful, Karen. We have just a few more minutes, and I have taken like 3 pages of notes. I got kind of emotional when Janine shared, because, you know, I know a lot of these ladies, and Jen too, like, again, if you saw their pictures, right, they're just like perfect, you know, perfect. And they've got these beautiful kids and stuff too that are seeing them. And so it really kind of breaks my heart to know that they're not living in that empowered state every day. So I'm so glad that we did this. And it is you know, it's just like anything. This is work. This is something you have to decide you're going to work on every day, myself included. Like I do the same thing. Like right now, like all of my shorts are too tight and it's so irritating, right? And you know, it's even more irritating right now is hardly any stores are open because I want to just like get rid of them. I'm like, well, maybe your butt actually grew, Val, in a good way. It's okay. You know, that's what I'm telling myself. But
I love it. Yeah, you just have to accept it. I'm telling you, last week I felt like queen, and then all of a sudden today I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so much more heavy. I was like, oh woman, your period, you're gonna get it soon. Like just chill. Like it's all good, right? Like everything shifts. When we open up, everything shifts. But here's what I want to say. Anyone on the call, so you have ladies on the call who send you their pictures and then they're in a negative state.
Right.
Okay, so Val, if you're good, I'm gonna give your ladies an assignment. I want you to go back to the last picture that you sent Val. Like, I deeply want you to do this. And I want you to write at least one positive thing that you see in that picture and send it to her. Yeah, so Victoria, I love what you said. So one time when I was, you know, being so neurotic about my body, you know what my daughter said, and she was a teenager. She said, Mom, she said, someday you're just going to get older and not have this body. So you really should enjoy it now. And I was horrified. Right? It's like, right. That makes sense. Right. So it's like we have to get present, right? We have to get into this loving state of accepting and doing the work, you know? I mean, that's it. We've all been programmed. We all have negative tapes, right? And it's just like, it's finding, okay, so wait, like what Val said, oh, so my butt's a little bit bigger. So wait, maybe this is a good thing. And how can I just embrace this, right? Yeah.
There's so many layers. I have done this in other areas of my life. Like I recognized that I was believing something from my past that, you know, like just believing this belief, right? And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm not believing that anymore. And it's just like that, you know? So if you guys can really dig into what Karen's saying about figure out why you're thinking the way you're thinking, what made you believe that, and just decide not to anymore. You know, sometimes it's a little bit more of a shift, but for me, a couple different things in my life, I've just been like, you know what? No more.
No. And I will say this, because I think it will be really helpful. I think as women, I mean, I know this was for me, it was like the whole theory of like my body image and all this was just like, I'm not enough. I will never be enough. And so when you're feeling that strongly, to help create that better feeling thought, it's like, really? You're not enough? Like, what are you like? I mean, are you a piece of cement? No. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of have to like really check that thought because it's not true. You can never not be enough. You just, it's like in freaking possible. In freaking possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll figure something out. I do have a mindset Facebook group. I haven't been putting much in there, but maybe we can spice that up a little bit and post in there a little more. Would be good. Would be so good. And this is going to be a series. I'm going to have another conversation with just some friends on this topic next week, and I'll roll us out. I'll watch for some emails and things from me. I'm going to put maybe some things Karen laid out for us to do as work and maybe a worksheet or something. I just think that would be helpful, or some kind of printable that you can put on your mirror. I think that would be helpful, just to say, stop with whatever that thought is, you know. Are you talking nicely to yourself when you look here? You know, something I think would be helpful for us all. Did you have any other things to share, Karen? What about training?
Yeah, so I just really want to say that for anyone here who is like, oh, this is like really tough, I get it. I've been there. I think as women, this is something that we're kind of always going through, but we get better at managing it. We get better at dealing with it, right? And I want you to know it's possible for you, but the number one place to start, like, if it's not nice, it's not love. So if what you're saying to yourself is not nice, it is not love, and it's never going to get you to where you want to be, ever. So what I also want to share, if anyone is on this call and you'd like to receive a body breakthrough, I want you to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Facebook, in Messenger or Instagram, and just let me know, hey, I was on the call. I'd love to schedule a one-on-one breakthrough call with you. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into like what it really is and how you can turn that around. So that's available to you. So just connect with me on Facebook or Instagram, and we can get that scheduled, because I'd love to support you. It's like, ladies, we get to be free, right? Like, we don't know, like, did we wake up one day and know that we were going to have to stay home? No, right? So it's like, we don't know in life what's going to happen. So wouldn't it be best just to love on yourself, enjoy yourself, even if you have some cellulite? It's like, we all have cellulite, come on, right? It's like, let's just love on the thing so that we can keep, remember this, whatever you're thinking, good or bad, you will always get more of it, 100% of the time.
I'm writing that.
100% of the time.
That's so good.
And so then remember, right? It's like, if you can't get that better feeling thought, because I know it's hard, believe me, you got to go neutral, right? It's like, okay, oh, my mind's going down the whatever that, let me just look at the birds. Like, I did that. I would just focus on, if there was a child, a dog, or whatever, I would just focus on something that was better than what I was thinking about myself. I mean, doesn't that sound better in general, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you, ladies, for hopping on. We're at just about an hour, so I do want to end the recording here.